Good Erev Shabbos. It's Parshas Vayigash. The Torah counts in this week's Parsha 66 people who came down to Egypt and 3 who were in Egypt. And last I checked, 66 plus 3 is 69. And yet, the very next sentence says that there were 70 people who came down to Egypt. So if you make the count manually, you'll still come out with 69. And in the end, you wonder, why does the Torah say 70? Well, there's a famous midrash that says that Yocheved, one of the granddaughters of Yaakov, was actually born as they traveled, through the gate. The actual term is through the walls, but maybe there was houses that had doors on both sides, or maybe it just means through the gate. As they were entering, they weren't quite outside Egypt yet, and they weren't quite inside Egypt yet. They were traveling in no man's land, so to speak. As they were entering, Yocheved was born. Yocheved happens to be turned out to be the mother of Moses. There is another midrash that says that, in fact, the divine presence, the Shekhinah, as it's called, was the 70th. That one's a little less known, but my son, Rabbi Nachum Albin, knew about it. I actually was sensing that it was correct. Maybe I'd heard it and forgotten it. And he said, no, it's a medrash. And I was thinking about it. What is the connection between these 2 points? Because in a certain sense, sometimes midrashim are sort of saying the same thing in a different way. Well, the one about Yocheved seems relatively easy, I think. Because if Yocheved is the mother of Moses, the Torah seems to be telling us that before the Jews enter Egypt, even if it's at the last second as they come through the gate, the Messiah, so to speak, the one who's going to save them from Egypt, give them the Torah, is already having the seeds laid, so to speak, for his birth. Because, you can't have a birth of a man named Moses if you don't have a mother named Yocheved. And she was born as they entered, which means that you could say that God was taking care to see to it that the Jews would not be in Egypt forever, that they would eventually come out, and no matter how bad it got, that they would be redeemed. Clearly, the meaning of saying the other midrash, that Moses was, God was with the Jewish people when they went to Egypt, and he was the 70th, is coming to say, I think, straightforward, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is with us in our troubles. And that, if someone is with you in your troubles, that's a form of a cure. Being sick and just knowing that someone else cares, even if there's nothing you can do. All you do is go to visit him when he's sick, when he's got a terminal illness, or visit her when she's sick and she has a terminal illness. Just the fact that you're there, showing that you care, makes it better and easier to survive what's going on. In fact, maybe it'll make the difference in changing your spirits, and you'll receive a miraculous recovery. The bottom line is that whether it's Yocheved in the birth of Moses or God being with us to get through the experience, right, we will get through that experience. We got through that experience in Egypt one way or another, as they say, by hook or by crook. And crook doesn't mean thief over here. Go look it up on the internet and you'll see it means something completely different. By hook or by crook, we will be able to survive the Egyptian exile. And we have to realize also that by hook or by crook, we will survive the exile we're in now. With the trouble we're seeing worldwide, doesn't mean every one of us will make it, but the Jewish people will make it, just like we did against all the other enemies of our history. And in case you think you've heard this theme from me before, it's a good theme to repeat, and that's why we've been mentioning it these last few weeks. Have a good Shabbos.